How's it going, folks? So, recently in the comments section, Chick Micken brought up the proposal of mandatory firearm ownership for all fighting age males. Well, while I can understand the sentiment on what he's arguing, obviously, he wants people to be able to defend the country in the event of an invasion. I get that. I understand that. There is an issue with mandatory firearm ownership, actually, quite a few. One such issue is what happens when the person doesn't really want to have the firearm. What do you think is going to happen there? Like, let's say we mandated that every adult male, barring severe mental disabilities, is required to own a rifle like this. Okay. Well, what happens when they don't really want to buy that rifle? They'd rather spend their money on something else. They're going to be really resentful over having to spend that money on the rifle. Furthermore, what do you think they're going to do with the rifle? Do you think they're going to maintain it? Probably not. They're probably going to just throw it in the closet, you know, or something of that nature. And one of the ways that I've have seen the most when it comes to children having accidents with firearms is that mommy and daddy begrudgingly buy a firearm. They themselves generally don't learn too much about firearms. They keep it a secret from their children. Don't let the children know that they have it, or tell the children firearms are bad. And then one day, the children find mommy and daddy's firearm, and the curiosity gets the best of them. And since they don't know how to handle a firearm, they end up negligently discharging the firearm, and the round hits them or somebody else. So, yeah, one of the last things I want to do is mandate somebody having a firearm that, quite frankly, should not does not want to have the firearm. Furthermore, on mental disabilities, how do you determine that? We can go one way and say you have to get a specific diagnosis, and there might be stringent requirements for that, but then you're going to have people get forced to own a firearm they didn't want to that had mental disabilities, and then you can go the other way and just make it real easy for people to claim mental disability and avoid owning a firearm. And then the law isn't going to have much effect anyway. Those who really don't want a firearm are just going to simply claim mental disability. Those who even decide, hey, you know what, I'd rather spend my money on something else, might say, oh, well, I've got this little mental disability right here, therefore cannot own a firearm. So there are a lot of problems with the idea of mandating somebody own a firearm. Moreover, you're going to drive the price of rifles up even more than it already is if you're starting to mandate all fighting age males have one, barring mental disability. You're going to make it more expensive for the guys who just turned 18 who actually want to get a rifle to actually be able to afford that rifle. Because you're making somebody who didn't want to purchase that rifle purchase that rifle. So there are a number of things involved with that. Then you got to consider ammunition prices. I'm pretty sure you're not going to expect a fighting age male to own a rifle and not own a significant amount of ammunition or a sufficient amount of ammunition. Well, it's going to drive up the ammo prices. You're probably not going to sit there and solely expect them to have the rifle, you're probably going to want them to have some LBE or some load bearing equipment. I don't have any of the vests around me right now. I mean, I guess I probably should have thought about that before I recorded the video, but you're probably going to expect them to have at least some load bearing equipment to carry their extra magazines, their water, their individual first aid kit, and anything they may need as part of, say, the militia. And I'm not saying your idea is unconstitutional. In fact, if Congress was to decide to say, hey, look, we're bringing back the unorganized militia in the spirit of the law, because, we also have the letter of the law as well. It would be fully constitutional. The thing is would it be a good idea? You know? So my answer is it's probably not going to be the best idea out there. I understand where you're coming from on this, but there are a lot of things that can go wrong with this. Furthermore, all the gun controllers, what do you think is going to happen the first time somebody who really didn't want that rifle gets that rifle and then, misuses it, either has an accident, intentionally kills somebody or something of that nature, and then turns around and says, well, I really didn't want the rifle, but you guys forced me to have it. They're going to use that as ammunition. What happens when that person who doesn't have the rifle chooses not to use it to defend themselves, or has it thrown away somewhere, doesn't know how to use it, didn't take care of it? They get broken into, and they end up getting killed by the home invader, and either the rifle's taken or not. Now the gun controllers are going to say, well, see, guns can't protect you. you know and again, somebody who doesn't really want to spend their money on the rifle might get really resentful at the idea of having to spend the money on the rifle, and may very well be more likely to support more gun laws, more restrictions than they originally were. And it'd be probably a way to get back at those who they perceived as being the ones pushing for the mandates. Those of us who actually like to have firearms. So, this is why I cannot support mandatory firearm ownership. I think it works well as a right, and I think we need to actually start treating it as if it is a right again. And I think we need to start repealing a lot of the gun laws off the books, but mandating the ownership of it a bit different. Now, there are other things you can do that aren't going to be so invasive, such as maybe tax breaks for people who do own suitable rifles. That would be one such idea. You know, but just the simple mandating of firearm ownership is probably not the best idea. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. Everyone, you have the comments section below. Y'all take it easy out there and have a great day.